The 2025 Azerbaijan Grand Prix will go down as the worst weekend of the season for McLaren. They had an absolute stinker. By far the worst weekend in a long time. And you know it's a bad weekend when Oscar Piastri is having an absolute shocker. The most consistent driver. And he had an absolute stinker. Probably, I mean, it's his worst weekend of his F1 career. And Norris, well, he just did Norris things, didn't he? Classic bottle job, Lando Norris. Which also means Max Verstappen is back in the championship fight. If you believe that, which I don't. He's not winning the championship, let's be real. He's still going to be a McLaren driver. I still think it's going to be Piastri. Yeah, Verstappen ain't winning the championship, let's be real. He'll have one average race. In fact, yep, he's gone, championship's done. I mean, Verstappen knows he ain't winning the championship, that's also another thing. But he won the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. He won it in qualifying, to be brutally honest. Got pole. His nearest, I mean, he had a Sainz and Lawson. His next closest rival, I guess, was Russell, like 5th. Verstappen had it in the bag from qualifying, and he absolutely dominated the race. A Grand Chelem, which is pole, fastest lap, lead every lap and win the race. So good job to Max Verstappen. George Russell, who was absolutely an absolute illness mess all weekend, still got managed to get P2. Great drive for him. And Carlos Sainz, who's had probably one of his worst seasons of his career, on the podium in 3rd for Williams. My lighting is playing up. Shocker. But a fantastic job from Sainz. Qualified P2, gets a podium, a well-deserved result for him. Liam Lawson got a fantastic result as well in P5 for Racing Bulls, his best result of the year. Antonelli, I forgot about him, for a great result as well in P4 for Mercedes. Tsunoda, back in the points. His best result of the season, which is kind of bad. I was saying this after race 17 in a Red Bull, or 15th race in Red Bull. 17, you know what I mean. He got P6, with Lando Norris having an absolute stinker in P7. Not taking advantage of Piastri, who had an absolute shocker, crashed in qualifying. In the span of 2 laps, Piastri crashed in qualifying, stalled on the grid, or jumped the start, then went to anti-stall on the grid, and then crashed on the first lap in turn 5. Just over, what an absolute stinker for Piastri. That's his first DNF since the US Grand Prix 2023, when he was still a rookie. That was Piastri's race, about 5 corners, and then he just chilled and watched the race from the sidelines, which was pretty funny to watch. And then you also had, who else had? You had the Ferraris. I mean, you had a Ferrari had started the weekend sort of Friday, 1, 2, practice 2. Like, oh, Ferrari are back. They're going to win. Hamilton's going to win the race. They're going to podium, and then they finish 8th tonight. And then they couldn't even manage a driver swap correctly. Hamilton tried to swap to give the place back and missed it, but did it before the line. Oh, after the line. Like, how do you mess that up? And then Leclerc was, as well, 9th. That Hadjar got a point for Racing Bulls in 10th. And that was about it. Yeah, Norris had a chance, and he did. It was basically Canada. It was a Canada race in terms of McLaren just nowhere. McLaren had pace, they just couldn't get to the front. They were just stuck in traffic, just messed up all the time. So 25 points is the gap between Piastri and Norris. Going into Singapore should be interesting. Obviously, Lando won this race last year, I think. Did Norris win this race? I think Norris won this race last year, so he needs to do that again this year. But otherwise, Piastri, despite DNF, is still in a very good position. So, Azerbaijan Grand Prix, it was a bit of a meh race, but the McLaren bottle jobs, who doesn't love that? So we'll see if they continue the bottle jobs into Verstappen's worst track in Singapore next week.